Hello everyone, welcome you all for the lecture session on the subject of the dynamics of machines having a subject code of 18ME53. In the previous session, we began with a new module which is about an introduction for an undamped free vibration. Basically, we begin with the concepts of vibrations. So this module and the next module which we will be discussing completely comes under vibration. So in the previous session, we learnt the definition of an vibration. We understood the differences between an vibration and the oscillation. We saw the definitions that are associated with respect to the vibration and the different types of vibration. In today's session, let us begin with the undamped free vibration. Before coming for the undamped free vibration, let us understand a unique concept that we have already learnt in our lower semester classes, which is all about the simple harmonic motion. Along with that, the undamped free vibrations. In that particularly, we are going to consider any mechanical system and then we are supposed to derive the natural frequencies and the displacement equations for that particular mechanical systems. So to begin with, what is this simple harmonic motion? Or how do we define this term, a simple harmonic motion? We define the vibration as the to and fro motion of an object about a fixed point. Similarly, the motion which is to and fro about a fixed point, we are going to call it as a simple harmonic motion. A motion which is to and fro about a fixed position, we are going to call it as a simple harmonic motion such that in this particular case the acceleration is always directed towards the mean position and it is proportional to the displacement. Where in order to explain that, we have considered a mass. It's an example of a simple pendulum. The simple pendulum exists, the simple harmonic motion. So we have a frictionless lever, or we have considered a lever for which a mass is attached at the end and this particular mass is displaced. It is displaced. Let the displacement be S for this particular position, and when it is released, the energy that is stored gives rise for the kinetic energy. The bob moves for the mean position and the kinetic energy is more such that it will again displace it for the maximum position. Whereas in these cases, at any instant if you consider, the displacement will be proportional to the acceleration, but the acceleration will be always directed towards the mean position. So such type of motions, we are going to call it as a simple harmonic motion, where the motion is to and fro motion about a fixed position, but the displacement is proportional to the acceleration and the acceleration is always directed towards the mean position or the fixed position. Now, in order to obtain an equation for the simple harmonic motion, I have considered a particle which is revolving in the anti-clockwise direction. The path that the particle has occupied, I have represented. This is traveling in the x dash and y dash direction. Let us assume that. So the particle was initially here and its center is O, and it has travelled in anti-clockwise direction from x to y, again from y to x dash and x dash to y dash and y dash to x. Basically, the particle is moving in the circular motion and it is to and fro, whether it is in the xx or in the yy direction. The maximum position from the fixed position, we are going to call it as the amplitude, as we know. So what I'll do is, I'll consider a position at a point P. Let us consider the point P. In the circular motion, the particle is following. So at this particular point P, what has happened? The maximum distance or the distance from the mean position, we are going to call it as the amplitude A. How much it has displaced? So this is the amount of displacement and we are going to represent the displacement in terms of x. We are supposed to identify this. How to identify this? Initially the particle was at here. Now it has travelled for an angle of theta. How much will be this theta? This theta will be equal to the speed in which it is revolving into the time taken. So theta will be equals to omega into t. I can represent this displacement along OX or along OY. I can just resolve this. What I want is this particular distance or the displacement that a particle has taken. So now if I identify this x, how much will be the displaced position? So the x is equals to, here it's a triangle, here it's a triangle having n theta is equals to omega into t, and this is the hypotenuse having a magnitude of a, which is nothing but the amplitude, the maximum position of the displacement. Now I am supposed to identify this. It's a right angle triangle. If I write here having n theta, I am supposed to calculate this particular value. So how do I correlate it? The opposite side is always represented by sine. So if I apply the trigonometry, sine theta is equals to opposite by adjacent. Opposite by adjacent. Sine theta will be equal to, do I know the opposite side? That is the displacement x. Sorry, opposite by hypotenuse will give us the sine theta. So what is this hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is this, which is an amplitude. What I want is x. So x is equals to a sine theta. X is equals to a sine theta. I can replace here x is equals to a sine theta. But what is this theta? Theta is omega into t. If you put t is equals to 0, that is, it will be at the horizontal position, the initial position. As you keep on changing the t value, the particle will keep on changing its position. So the displacement equation for a simple harmonic motion of a body is given by x is equals to a sine omega t, whatever the conditions might be. So the displacement equation for a body is given by x is equals to a sine omega t. Now the body as displaced, so I can also calculate the velocity and its acceleration. So what will be the velocity? How to get velocity? The velocity will be equal to dx divided by dt. That is, differentiating this x is equals to a sine omega t with respect to the time. So what will happen now if I differentiate this? A is the amplitude, it's a value, it will remain constant. What is sine omega differentiation? It is cos omega t into omega t differentiation is omega. So a cos omega t into omega. So this is my velocity. So dx by dt, I am representing this by x dot will be equals to a omega cos omega t. So this is with respect to the displacement. Now what is acceleration? The rate of change of velocity with respect to time. The rate of change of displacement with respect to time will give us velocity. The rate of change of velocity with respect to time will give us the acceleration. Now acceleration of that particular particle is given by, I am supposed to differentiate this again. So it will be d square x by dt square, and I am representing this divide with the help of x double dot. So now for x, x dot, x double dot will represent as x the displacement, x dot the velocity, x double dot the acceleration. So x double dot will be equal to, we are supposed to differentiate this particular term. So a omega is a constant, it will remain like that itself. What is cos differentiation? It is minus sine. So it is minus sine omega t into omega t differentiation is omega. So therefore the acceleration x double dot will be equal to omega into omega is omega square. So minus omega square a sine omega t. What is this a sine omega t? It is nothing but the displacement. So I can write it is x double dot is equals to minus omega square x. The acceleration of a body which is under simple harmonic motion is given by x double dot is equals to minus omega square x. So this becomes very essential. This is what I was telling. The acceleration is equal to the displacement, but it will be in the opposite direction. It will be acting in the opposite direction. This omega will represents the angular speed, but whereas this x will represents the displacement value. So this acceleration will be in the opposite direction when compared to that of the displacement. This is with respect to the simple harmonic motion, where you should remember the displacement equation of any body is given by x is equals to a sin omega t, velocity is given by a omega cos omega t, and the acceleration is denoted by x double dot is equals to minus omega square into x. Now let us move on for the next concept, which is all about undamped free vibrations. Now coming for the undamped free vibration, any elastic member which vibrates because of its inherent forces, not because of the external forces, then such type of vibrations we are going to call it as free vibrations. So any elastic members for that matter, if they are free to vibrate on its own without any external excitations, then we are going to call such systems as the free vibrations. And if there is no resistance offered, or if there is no loss of energy because of the resistance that is offered, then we are going to call it as undamped free vibrations. So the type of frequency that is developed because of the free vibrations will be called as the natural frequencies. So now we are supposed to consider a mechanical systems under which they are subjected for the undamped free vibration. So the typical example would be a spring mass system under single degree of freedom. What does that single degree of freedom indicates? They are free to move, or the displacement can taken place only in one particular direction. So they are free to move in any one particular direction. So the natural frequencies of the mechanical systems are identified in order to reduce the resonance effect of any machine element. And we should also know the differential equations for all the mechanical system to understand their behavior. So now let us consider a spring mass system, or basically a system under the differential equation development. So we are supposed to, in this particular chapter, derive the differential equations of motion for the systems. There might be various systems. So we are supposed to consider those systems, and we are supposed to derive the equation of motion for that particular mechanical systems. Along with, we are supposed to calculate the natural frequencies, because it is with respect to the free vibration. There are various methods that can be employed. For example, we can adopt the Newton's second laws of motion method, or we can adopt the energy method, or we can adopt the Rayleigh's method. So depending upon the suitability, we can utilize all the three also, or we can utilize any one method in order to derive the equation of motion. So now let us begin with the first condition by considering a simple spring mass system, or what we call as a mechanical system under single degree of freedom system by the Newton's laws of method, or basically utilizing the Newton's laws of motion, the second law predominantly. So with respect to the introduction of undamped free vibration, we have understood that there is no resistance offered for the movement of the vibration. So such type of a vibration we are going to call it as a free vibration, and it is undamped free vibration. So what I will do is, I am considering a mechanical system which is consisting of derivation of, let us call derivation of equation, derivation or the equation of motion for mechanical system. So the system that I am going to consider is a spring mass system. So when I say spring mass system, it should consist of a spring along with its mass. So I am considering a spring having a stiffness of a K, it's a fixed stiffness, and this particular spring is free at one end and it is fixed at the another end. When I add mass for this particular spring, it will reach for the static equilibrium position. So what will happen? I am going to attach a mass for this particular system. Let us call this as a mass M. So now what has happened? It has reached for the static equilibrium position. It has displaced, the spring has displaced through a certain deflection. So this particular position we are going to call it as the static equilibrium position. So now I am going to displace this mass further to a distance of x. Let us displace this particular mass further through a distance of x. So what will happen? The spring will get further displaced. So now I have further displaced the spring, or sorry, the mass through a distance of x. Here stiffness K, stiffness K. If you can observe clearly that the mass has been displaced through a distance of x, and where if I leave this, the mass can only move in this particular direction, which is indicating that it is under single degree of freedom. So we are deriving an equation of motion for a mechanical system, basically a spring mass system, for a spring mass system which is under single degree of freedom, and it is an undamped free vibration. We are not opposing any reaction, we are not providing any resistance for this particular mass. So what has happened here? How the mass is under equilibrium position? So we are supposed to write the equilibrium diagram for each of these particular positions. So this was the initial position, it has displaced when I put the mass, and this particular position we are going to call it as a static equilibrium position, and I have displaced the mass further through a distance of x, and we have reached for this particular condition. Now if I draw the free body diagram or the equilibrium diagram for this particular position, how it will be? So here we have the mass. Here we have the mass. How the weight will be acting? The weight will be always acting in the downward direction, or the gravitational force will be always acting in the downward direction. How do I calculate that? So that W is equals to, the weight is equals to, mass is M into the gravitational pull is G. So the weight will be always acting in the downward position. How the system is under equilibrium? Because of the opposite force that is offered by the spring. There is a spring force which is acting opposite to the gravitational force, and it is acting in which direction? It is acting in the upward direction. So that is represented in the upward direction. We know that spring stiffness is given by Newton per meter or millimeter, but what I want is the spring force. How the spring force will be acting? How the spring force will be? Spring force will be K, that is Newton per millimeter, into its static deflection. So it will give us the Newton, that is the spring force value. So K, I am going to call it as delta. So from this particular figure, let us call this as a figure B and this as a figure A, the first one as. So from figure B, I can quote that, or I can state that the gravitational force will be equal to spring force under equilibrium condition. Call this as equation 1. So under equilibrium condition, the gravitational force will be equal to the spring force, that is mg is equals to K into delta. Now this is for this particular position. Again I have displaced this mass through a distance of how much? X. So what are the forces that are acting at this particular equilibrium position? Again we have two different forces. What are the forces? The one that is pulling downward, which is the gravitational force, and the other is the spring force that is acting in the upward direction. Now let us try to draw the equilibrium diagram or the free body diagram and then analyze what are the forces that are acting on the mass at this particular position after displacing it for a distance of x. So let us draw the mass first. We have the mass m. How the gravitational force will be acting? It will be acting in the downward direction. It will be acting in the downward direction. So W is equals to m into g. How the spring force will be acting? The spring force will be acting in the upward direction. So whenever the mass is displaced in the downward direction, the spring force will be acting in the upward direction. The spring force will be acting in the upward direction. So what is the spring force value then? Here it was, initially it was here. Now after displacement it has reached here. So the total spring force will be equals to K of delta plus x, x plus delta. So this will give us the spring force value at this particular position. So let us call it as the figure C, figure C. After the mass is displaced through a distance of x, we have two different forces. The first force is the spring force and the other is the spring force will be acting in the upward direction and the gravitational force will be acting in the downward direction. And let us consider the forces that are acting in the gravitational side as the positive or towards downward as the positive and opposite to that as the negative forces. So here what will happen? We have two different forces and the one that is acting in the downward direction will be taken as positive and the one that is acting in the upward direction will be taken as negative. And if I consider the Newton's second law of motion, consider Newton's second law of motion, what does that it states? Summation of all the forces that are acting on the body will be equal to its mass into its acceleration, or some F is equals to m into a. Which are all the forces that are acting at this particular mass? We are supposed to consider that, and it is equal to the mass into acceleration of this particular system. So now let us consider the figure C. So we can write that from figure C, which are all the forces? We have the spring force, we have the gravitational force, and whichever the acting in the downward direction we are taking as positive and the one that is opposite to that we are taking it as negative. So sum of all the forces is the condition. So what is the force? That is, the first force is the gravitational force. How it is acting? It is acting in the downward direction. So it is taken as positive. And then the second force that we have is the spring force. The spring force is acting in the upward direction, hence it is taken as negative. So it is minus K of delta plus x is equals to, the mass is represented by m only. How do we represent the acceleration? If x is displacement, velocity is x dot, acceleration is x double dot. So m x dot. So I will bring the entire thing into the one side. So what will happen? mx dot minus mg, shifting this to that, plus k of delta plus x is equal to 0. Now rearranging the term, mx dot minus mg, I am just multiplying here, k delta plus kx will be equal to 0. Now can I replace mg by k delta from equation 1, that is from the static equilibrium position? So from equation 1, we can replace mg is equals to k delta. Mg is equals to k delta in the equation. So what will happen now? Mx double dot minus mg is what? K delta minus k delta plus k delta plus kx is equal to 0. Get cancels, minus k delta plus k delta. So we are left out with mx dot plus kx is equals to 0. Divide throughout by m. We are going to obtain x double dot because m and m will get cancels plus k by m into x is equal to 0. Call this as equation 2. Call this as equation 2. So we know the general expression for a body when it is subjected for the simple harmonic motion. What is that equation? It is given by x double dot is equals to minus omega square into x. Whether this body is under simple harmonic motion? Yes, it is under simple harmonic motion. The body is periodically varying to and fro about its mean position. So such type of system we are going to call it as a simple harmonic motion, and we know the general expression for the simple harmonic motion is given by. So from SHM, from simple harmonic motion or from a simple harmonic motion for a body, we can write x double dot plus omega n square x is equal to 0. We know the general expression and we have derived this particular expression. This omega n is with respect to the natural frequency because it is of free vibration. So now comparing equation 2 and 3. Comparing equation 2 and 3. Can I write omega n square is equals to k divided by m? Omega n square is equals to k divided by m. We have just compared these values because both the equations are similar. I am just considering the comparison of this omega n square. What will be the natural frequency? Omega n is equals to square root of k divided by m. Omega n is equals to root of k divided by m. But what we want is the natural frequency of the system, which is given by Fn is equals to omega n divided by 2 pi, whereas Fn is equals to 1 by 2 pi of omega n value is root of k divided by m. K divided by m. What was our aim? Our aim was to derive an equation of motion for the simple mechanical system, specifically for a spring mass system. We have derived an equation of motion for a spring mass system, and we also determine the natural frequency for the particular system. The natural frequency is calculated in order to reduce the resonance in any of the mechanical system. So for all the cases that we are going to consider, we should determine the equation of motion as well as the natural frequency of vibration. So this particular method in which I have adopted is based on the Newton's laws of motion. This particular method is based on the Newton's laws of motion. Now for the similar method, for the similar mechanical system, we can employ the energy method. We can employ the energy method and check the differential equation or the equation of motion as well as the natural frequency for the system. Now let us see that particular condition. Now let us try to derive the equation of motion for a mechanical system based on the energy method. What does the energy method state? It states that energy method is based on the law of conservation of energy, which states that no amount of energy is lost either because of the friction or because of the energy dissipation. Here we are assuming that there is no amount of energy lost. That is because of undamped free vibration. Whatever the energy that is stored in the system will be same throughout the motion of the system. So there is no amount of energy that is lost, which is nothing but a law of conservation of energy. What are the two energies that are present in the system then? One is the kinetic energy. The first energy is the kinetic energy, which is represented by kinetic energy. It is represented by T, which is stored in the system because of the displacement of this particular mass. It is because the kinetic energy is because of the displacement of this particular mass. The other energy that is present in the system is the potential energy. Potential energy, which is denoted by the term U. This potential energy is stored in this particular spring of stiffness K. So there are two energies, kinetic energy that is represented by the T, which is stored in the system by virtue of the motion of the mass, the potential energy that is stored in the spring, that is having a stiffness of K. According to the principle of conservation of energy, some of the energies will remain constant throughout the motion of the system or the motion of the system. According to that, I can write according to the conservation of energy law, according to conservation of energy law or law of conservation of energy, T plus U is equals to constant. What does T indicates? The kinetic energy that is present in the system. What does U indicates? The potential energy that is present in the system. If this is differentiated, what is the thing that we are going to get? So d by dt of T plus U will be equal to 0. Now I should identify this T and U. So how to do that? The kinetic energy we know that it is given by half mv square. For any system under motion, it is given by half mv square, where m we are going to replace as it is, whereas velocity we are indicating that with the term x dot. So displacement is x, velocity is x dot, acceleration is x double dot. So it is x dot square. Similarly, I have the potential energy. How much is the potential energy, or how do I calculate the potential energy? The potential energy is denoted by the term U, and this potential energy U will be equal to, so U will be equal to the average spring force into its deflection. So the average spring force into the deflection will give us the potential energy of the potential energy that is stored in the spring. The average spring force is given by kx by 2 into its deflection is given by x. So U will be equal to half k x square. U will be equal to half k x square. Now I have both kinetic energy as well as the potential energy. Substitute in the equation and check for the equation of motion. So what I can do? So it is d by dt of, substituting t and u in the equation. So it is t is given by half m x dot square plus u is given by half k x square, and this is equal to 0. Just differentiate the term. Half, mass is constant, so x dot differentiation, the velocity differentiation will give us the acceleration. So x dot square, so 2 into x dot into x double dot plus half, the spring stiffness remains constant k, x square differentiation is 2x, x dot will be equal to 0. Differentiation of displacement will give us the velocity. Now 2 will get cancels, 2 will get cancels. So we are left out with mx double dot plus x dot plus kx x dot is equal to 0. Divide throughout by x dot. Divide throughout the equation by x dot. So the remaining term is mx dot plus kx is equal to 0. Now divide throughout by the mass value m. So we are going to obtain m by m will get cancelled, so it is x double dot plus k by m into x is equal to 0. If you recall the equation with respect to the Newton's energy method, Newton's laws of motion, this is the expression that we have obtained. So this gives us an equation of motion for the mechanical system under energy method. We also know that in general, simple harmonic motion for any body is given by, so from SHM we have the general expression which is given by x double dot plus omega n square x is equal to 0. Call that as equation 2. Here we have written already, we have derived the simple harmonic motion equation. So comparing 1 and 2, comparing equation 1 and 2, comparing equation 1 and 2, we have omega n square is equals to k divided by m, omega n is equals to root of k divided by m. But we are supposed to calculate the natural frequency of the system, so the Fn, the natural frequency is given by the angular velocity divided by 2 pi. So 1 by 2 pi into root of k divided by m. So even with the derivation with respect to the energy method, the equation will remain same. So this is how we can develop the equation of motion for the mechanical systems by adopting the different method. Either you can go with the Newton's laws of motion or you can go with the energy method. Thank you.